Hello and welcome to a new episode of the CEO Peak, and today I'm honored to host here Bill Shepard, the CEO of the COO Forum. Welcome, Bill, on board.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, Dave, and thank you very much for inviting me.
It's so nice to have you here. I just want to share a quick story. When I connected to other CEOs in the Bay Area, I was just almost every person that I connected to I saw Bill Shepard, and we were connected for a few years now, and then I look at your profile and I thought, the COO Forum, what a brilliant idea.
I spent a great deal of my career in the C-suite for companies both small, medium-sized, and large, New York Stock Exchange traded companies. And as both a CEO and a COO, I realized that the COO job was misunderstood and difficult.
It is.
It is second in command. You have responsibilities that vary from company to company based on the leadership teams. And there isn't really anywhere that people really gather and talk about what are the best practices. What is the things that the COO should be learning to be better and growing? And so our COO Forum is designed to be a professional development organization. We serve it with LinkedIn group that's very large. We have chapter meetings all over the country. We have an e-forum, which is a wonderful private confidential network for all our members around the chapters. It's an association exclusively for COOs and second-in-command. Running a company, there are just two things you have to do. Yeah. You have to do things right, and you have to do the right things.
Yeah.
And the CEO owns the things right. And the CEO has to be the chartered person who steers the direction, the strategy, the vision. But the COO is really the person who does things right. Yeah. And doing things right and executing is really also a cornerstone of a successful company. You know, one of my COOs spoke up at one meeting and he says, you know, the company I work for, we only focus on three things: execution, innovation, and culture. Mm-hmm. And I sort of believe that is what business is. And the COO is really the captain of the execution side of the business.
I agree.
The CEO is positioned in such a way that they have great demands on many, many constituents within the business and great responsibility for vision, strategy, and making those tough decisions as to what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. And the versatility is the ability to, in one case, go to a board meeting and wrestle with the board on getting your strategy approved, to walking the halls of your company when somebody's mom died and know that you should be talking to that person and sharing your condolences. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I found about being a CEO was that you're sort of like the conductor of a symphony. Uh-huh. You don't get to play any instrument.
Yeah.
And yet you're responsible for every piece of music that comes out of your symphony. And the hardest thing I had to learn when I became a CEO was there's certain things you don't do, and there's certain things you can't do, and there's certain things you shouldn't do. And you have to pay attention to the idea that you are leading as the conductor, not as the performer.
Right.
I was in a Vistage group in Cleveland, Ohio, run by Ed Crabtree, right, who was my chapter director. And I was in a group, and I was a first-time divisional president, and there were people from very large companies and very small companies, and I was sort of humbled by the crowd that I was gathering with. But he had a speaker that came in and talked about a book called Leadership is an Art by Max Dupree. And Max Dupree is the author of the book and another book that followed, and he also was a CEO at Herman Miller. Mm-hmm. And it was an inspiring book because it talked about the CEO in the context of not only how difficult the role is, but how important, and how important certain skills and certain attributes are to making the role really go correctly.
Bill, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your time, and thanks for the insights that you gave us today.
The pleasure has been mine. Thank you for inviting me as your guest.
And thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next episode.